But, it offers people affordable housing, and
Mhm.
that's really and truly what is driving me towards that avenue of real estate, is that it does address the housing crisis that we have. It allows people to have a nicer place to call home
Mhm.
than maybe they could afford on their own. And then it also does another thing. It provides that sense of community.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm Kristen and I'm here with Julie Goode, who is a real estate investor. She's got a lot going on. The owner of Goode Property Management in Texas, the owner of Grit and Grace Solutions in Georgia, and Hawaiian Breeze Homes in Oahu. So we're going to talk about out-of-state investing, and she's been able to do all of this within a year, under a year. So I'm excited to get into it. Thanks for being here, Julie.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Kristen.
So walk me through your background. Obviously, you are in the Army, and I mean, you've kind of scaled this business very quickly. What led you to this?
So honestly, as I've been in the Army for right around 16 years now, so I'm looking forward to the other side, going back to the civilian life. And so I started thinking about, what am I going to do then? What's next for me?
Right.
I am in the medical field, but it's been a long journey, very challenging journey, especially going through COVID. And so I really have a desire to do something else, just something completely different. I've loved real estate forever. And so I started looking at how I could get involved with real estate in January of this year, actually. And then in March of this year, I found a women's network that really just called to me. There was lots of support, lots of fellowship, lots of just sisterhood. And so I joined them and started learning. And then I started just doing.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I feel like it's important for women to really inspire each other and learn from each other in this industry because it can feel a little, it can feel a little male dominated at times. So I think that's amazing that you're able to find that. So, you just jumped in head first. How did you even get started?
Oh my goodness. Well, I broke the golden rule, which is, I invested my money. Uh, so the very first house, I just paid cash for because I was like, I don't know about these private money lenders. I don't know about hard money loans. It's all very scary. So I just bought it myself. And it actually was an auction property that I purchased after a foreclosure, and that's where I started. Definitely not where I stayed, but, learned a lot of really great lessons, from that experience. And then from there, as I got more educated, right, learned more about how to utilize private money, how to utilize hard money, when to do what, was another thing that I really think is key to being able to scale quickly, is how do I utilize both options and still come out ahead without putting my own money down, right? Um, so working through all that process and then also staying away from some of those auction sites. I've had a lot of communication with other wholesalers. Wholesalers are wonderful. They find us off-market properties, that sometimes need a lot of work, sometimes not so much. And then I've even bought some things off the MLS as well. Just it's whatever is a great deal, you know?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Right. Well, that's great. I mean, you seem to be able to source a lot of information very quickly. Was it through these networking groups? I'm sure you did your own research as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but what they really taught me, and the reason that I will always be forever grateful to, especially to the one like mentorship program that I joined,
Mhm.
is because it taught me where to get the information, right? They offer a lot of information, but it's kind of like a large pond, but it's only about an inch deep, right? So
Okay.
they don't go into every single detail, but what they do is they open my eyes up to all the different things that I need to learn about. And then I reach out from there and get more information and deeper information and there's tons of like Facebook groups and there's WhatsApp groups and there's all sorts of shoot offs from that. There's the Bigger Pockets forum. There's tons of stuff out there that they give away tons of information all the time. And what's great is that they also will just answer your specific questions. You
Right.
know, if you have something that maybe doesn't fit exactly into one of those categories that they have pre-listed, you just post something on their forums and, you'll get multiple responses. And that, even if you don't just take it at face value, it gives you enough information to know where to go to find the
Right.
answer that works for you, right?
Mhm.
What you determine to be your truth.
Mhm. Yeah, and you're in rentals, you're in flips, you're in rehabs, wholesaling, a lot of that. How do you go about figuring out where you want to spend your energy and kind of focusing in on? What does that look like for you right now?
So I've had sort of the shiny object syndrome, okay? Being new to real estate, I wanna find my niche, like what specifically speaks to me, what works for me, what is going to make the biggest impact. And so really I've tried so many different things. The first thing I did was a flip. I've acted as a private money lender. I've tried the wholesaling. I have a couple of rental properties as well, so trying that a little bit. I haven't done an Airbnb, but other than that, I feel like I've done almost everything else. And now my next thing is kind of looking towards co-living. But as I've gone through each one, I've really been able to identify, I like this aspect, but this doesn't necessarily work for me, or this is really difficult for me given where I am and kind of the situation that my life has. Um, so I'm very thankful to have had all of those experiences, but identifying exactly where I wanna go and where I click, right?
Okay.
What really makes it for me and keeps me engaged and excited, and once I identify that, all
Okay.
in, nothing else, no other modalities. That is really where I am. Like I said, my next thing is co-living, and I'm like 90% sure at this point that's going to be my niche
I
because
love
it offers something that not everything else does. It offers a problem to a nationwide epidemic,
uh
right? Which is the housing crisis. It's in every major city around the country. So, I've always had sort of a service mindset. I've lived my life in service of other people. Not only am I a soldier, I'm also a nurse. So, everything I've ever done has been to help someone have a better life and to help someone, to help people. That's what I've done. That's how I spent my life. And that's what makes me sleep at night. And so I feel like co-living is going to help me continue that service mindset as well as to be, a successful entrepreneur,
huh.
so I can have the freedoms that I want, but still be able to give back to the community.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, I love that. I think you touched on two really important things. I definitely want to get into the co-living space and kind of the intricacies of that, but also the fact that, there only is so much you can learn from behind a computer or behind a desk. You do need to kind of be out there to figure out what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And there's so many different aspects of real estate that you can get into. I think that's great that you've been able to try so much and kind of land on this co-living sector of it. So tell us more about co-living. Kind of what does that mean and what are like practically how does that look?
So basically, it's really as simple as having a single family home that is large enough that you can create additional rooms, and then you're renting out each individual room. So there's a couple of different models. I like to think of co-living as sort of the umbrella term, right? And then you have different variations of co-living. You have companies like PadSplit that's known all over the US. Their model's a little bit different than what I'm kind of thinking because theirs all come pre-furnished, right? Whoever sets the house up, they furnish the bedrooms, they furnish everything. What I'm looking at is I want people to think about that bedroom as that's their home.
Mhm.
It is the new apartment. And so I want them to come with their stuff, right? I will furnish all of the common areas and make sure it's a beautiful, safe, inviting environment.
Mhm.
But I want them to be able to have the freedom inside that area that they're renting to really express themselves. Having our own stuff, like it's as somebody who has lived in many, many different hotels and field environments where you don't have a lot of your own personal belongings,
Mhm.
it's really challenging. And it's just, I feel like there is such a comfort in that. But it offers people affordable housing. And
Mhm.
that's really and truly what is driving me towards that avenue of real estate is that it does address the housing crisis that we have. It allows people to have a nicer place to call home
Mhm.
than maybe they could afford on their own. And then it also does another thing. And I know we haven't really talked about this, but it provides that sense of community.
Mhm.
At the base of everything else, as human beings, we are we're just dependent on having connections.
Right.
We have a huge depressive community and epidemic in this country where how many people do you know that aren't on some sort of antidepressant? I mean, it runs rampant. And I think that's just because we have become so focused on computers and, social media and all of that. Those are wonderful tools, but it's never going to take the place of the buddy that sits right next to you, you
Mhm.
know? The person that you have a one-on-one conversation with, to go have a cup of coffee with a housemate, right? To talk about how your day went, to have someone to go home to, you
Mhm.
know? I feel like those things matter, especially as you're newer to a city or maybe you just moved there for work, which is usually why people move, you
Mhm.
know? You may not know anybody. So I feel like it's an opportunity to really provide a service as well as, it's a lucrative business as well, right?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I think it's wonderful because I agree. I mean, there's obviously housing crisis right now, but there's also a loneliness crisis. And it does give people that sense of community and sense of kind of ownership, like you were saying, being able to, bring their own stuff into their room.
Mhm.
I think that's really exciting. That's very, very exciting. So, you've been able to do a lot in less than a year. What are your tips for fitting everything in? I mean, you obviously have this very demanding job as well. How do you juggle it all?
It's just comes down to your dedication. How badly do you want to accomplish your goal? So, my day starts very, very early. I am typically up out of bed by 3. From 3 to 6, I focus on my real estate business, or businesses, and then at 6 o'clock, like, time is up, It's really a time blocking mechanism,
Mm,
and at that point, then it's time for me to, go shower and get ready for my other duties, right? So being really regimented and having that schedule down has, let me accomplish so much more, than, the first few weeks, I was, like, trying to do a few things here and a few things there, and then at the end of the week, I was like, "What did I accomplish?"
right.
You know?
Mhm.
The one thing I do in the evenings is I make a list of what I'm going to do the next morning. I do that right before I go to bed. I think about it and I'm like, okay, this is what's got to get done tomorrow. And so when that 3 hour time frame comes, I'm 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 an old critical care nurse. Like I've been doing stuff like that for a long time. I check the box, right? I check that box. And I make sure that my things are accomplished in a timely manner by doing that. But it really does take dedication. It takes consistency. That's the biggest thing, and it just takes the mindset that not everything goes perfectly, but that's okay because we're growing every day,
Right.
right? And we learn from the challenges. We learn from the mistakes that we made, and I've made them.
Mhm.
For sure, I make mistakes all the time, and I learn the hard way sometimes, but I'm better off for it.
Absolutely. Can you talk about maybe some of those times where you've run into a challenge or things haven't really gone as planned and how you're able to recover from it?
Absolutely. So, uh, funny enough, I have one wholesale deal that I'm working with a partner. So what I did to try to I guess to really try wholesaling because I found it very difficult with the time difference between where I'm located and where I really like to invest.
Mhm.
And so I started working with partners, right? They would make the telephone calls and then, I would do the advertisement or whatever for contracts that we get. So we have a seller that found out that there was a cloud. I'd never even heard of it, a cloud on the title. And I'm like, "What does that mean?" Well, come to find out, just through research or whatever else, like, we had a contract with this lady, and we were gonna take it to title and close on this house and purchase this house. And then we found this out, and it basically was like a whole new title that had been done. So one of the people that she had rented to ended up going and filing a title claim of a deed on that property.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, and then sold it to his girlfriend, who then sold it to her brother, who then sold it back to the original tenant.
Mhm.
And so the owner was completely left out of the whole thing. She had no idea. So she really just couldn't even eh, she didn't know what to do. She's like, how do I get this lifted?" She's like, "I've talked to attorneys and it's really hard and blah blah blah." So what we did is we reached out to some other people in the network and said, "Hey, let's figure this out. Does anybody have a resource? Does anybody have a reference?" We ended up talking with one lady who said, "You know what? I actually had that same problem in the same state. This is the attorney that I used, and he is excellent with real estate law. He's very familiar with this type of problem." And we were able to get that seller to that attorney. They're still finishing things up right now, but it's all going to work out. Like she's going to get ownership of her house back. All of the things, she was able to clear those folks from her property and they've already left. So that whole process has taken place, but it's just sometimes things come up that it's like, what do I do now?" Um, but you figure it out. That's what you do. You just figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm sure having a great network of people that probably have similar stories, it kind of shows that you really can't get out alive without, something like that happening.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, you can't do this business without a network. Like
Uh-huh.
you just can't. If you try to do real estate investing on your own, like it takes an army. It does. And there's so many, I mean, that doesn't mean that you have to go join, an expensive mentorship program or any of that stuff. Some people don't, for time's sake, it was the best fit for me
Huh?
because I needed a pathway. I needed someone to say, no, you need to learn this and now learn this and now learn that.
Uh-huh.
But for folks that have more time than I do, everything that they taught me is readily available,
Uh-huh.
right? There's tons and tons of free resources out there that will teach you everything you need to know. It's just a matter of putting it all together. There's tons of groups that have networks that are wide open for anyone to join.
Uh-huh.
It's just putting yourself out there, knowing where to look to find those groups.
Right.
And then your local real estate folks are honestly probably some of the best places to start. So,
Uh-huh.
for anybody that's like considering looking at real estate, just look up on Google, real estate commission in my state.
Mhm.
It will give you the official website. You do not have to be a realtor to attend meetings and gatherings. They may charge you like, I don't know, I think the one here, they charge me $10 every time I go because they do education during their meetings, right? So they have a speaker that comes. And because I'm not a realtor, it's not included in like my membership, then I pay a little fee. I learn tons, but what I also get is all of that networking.
Right.
And many times those realtors are also real estate investors,
Mhm.
and they've been doing this for a really long time. So they can and do for the most part. They're very forthcoming. The fact that people want to learn, I feel like is really an attractive quality to them because they're more than happy to tell me anything I ask, and I
Right.
love it. Love it.
That's what I kind of hear time and time again with this industry. I feel like so many people want to help and so many people
Mhm.
are more accessible than you would think.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've never been told, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna tell you that." You
Right.
know? Never. Never has anyone been less than forthcoming when I've asked for help.
Mhm. That's amazing. Well, I mean, you've given such good advice about starting out and scaling quickly and being regimented. I think there's a lot of takeaways from this episode. Tell everyone where to find you and how to work with you.
So, you can look for me in Georgia. or Texas or Hawaii. The names of the companies that were given at the beginning, you can find me on Facebook, Julie Goode, Grit and Grace Home Solutions, Goode Property Management. Oh goodness, Hawaiian Breeze. All of those places you can find me very easily. So I look forward to continuing this journey. If anybody has questions, like I don't have a program to sell, I don't have any of that kind of stuff. But like I am an open book. I do not keep secrets, and I feel like there is enough need that everyone can succeed, you
Mhm.
know? I will not hold back. Anything I know, I will be more than willing to share. So, I welcome anyone who's interested to reach out.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being here, Julie.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed this.
Amazing. Well, thank you everybody for listening. I hope you got some good inspiration, maybe inspired you to wake up a little earlier tomorrow. Yeah, we will see you back next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.